One of the most notorious, documented, and talked about criminals in the world, Pablo Escobar's history still unveils. His possessions still surface, and every once in a while, someone comes up with a fact about him that is so absurd, you'll be shaking your head in disbelief. The cocaine kingpin, drug lord, Don, there are many names for him. Escobar's cocaine empire bagged him an estimated net worth of $30 billion by the early 1990s. He was one of the richest men in the world. Pablo Escobar truly was the king of cocaine, and these are some of the most outrageous facts about his unimaginable wealth. So in this video, we're going to talk about the top 10 facts about Pablo Escobar that will make you say, "Thank God he is dead." Let's start the video. Number 1. He stole tombstones to make his first fortune. Escobar counted himself as a businessman, and he has no ethics when it comes to business. This rule of thumb stuck to him for life and led him to commit mass cold-blooded murder of thousands. He was born and raised in poverty and in a politically unstable society, but he knew this is not the life he wants to live. To change his condition, he took the life of a criminal from a very young age. One of his first illegal acts was stealing tombstones and sold them to the Panamanian smugglers. In the early 1970s, Escobar had developed a versatile criminal career, working as a thief and a bodyguard. But like many up-and-coming drug lords, he desired to be a cartel leader, and much bloodshed had to take place to get him there. Number 2. He used hitmen to do the job. To climb the ladder in the hierarchy of the cartel, he had to induce terror in both his colleagues and competition. But it is rare that he had blood on his own hands. To do his dirty work, he had several hitmen on his payroll. His most trusted and effective hitman was John Jairo Velasquez, also known as Popeye. One of Popeye's most notable hits was the assassination of presidential hopeful and anti-drug trafficking crusader Luis Carlos Galán in 1989. After Popeye was convicted for his role in the hit, he confessed to participating in around 300 murders and ordering some 3,000 others. In 1992, Popeye was sentenced to 52 years in prison. Yet despite his staggering body count, he was paroled in 2014. Number 3. He hid behind his Robin Hood image. Escobar knew that if he had the population on his side, he would become unstoppable. To get approval of the poor public, he built schools and sports fields for the local communities, donated large sums of money to charity, funded people's medical expenses, and built houses for the poor. His construction, Barrio Pablo Escobar, still exists today and houses more than 12,000 people in 2,800 homes. There are even images of him at the site with the sign, "Welcome to Barrio Pablo Escobar." Here you breathe peace. He never missed an opportunity to build PR, and this way he dreamed of becoming the president of Brazil one day. Number 4. He turned Medellin into Colombia's murder capital. In 1989, Medellin reported the highest number of homicide in all of Colombia in that year alone. More than 2,600 people were brutally murdered in a city with a population of 2 million. According to Charles Anthony Gillespie, who was the U.S. ambassador to Colombia between 1985 to 1988, the city was under the control of the narcotics empire, and the daily slayings were out of control. Escobar's cartel was not the only force committing these savage crimes against humanity, but they were responsible for a major part of these murders one way or the other. Number 5. He once killed 107 people in a plane blast. In 1989, a Boeing 747 crashed, taking the lives of 101 passengers and 6 crew members on Avianca Flight 203, which was inbound to Cali. The plane crashed near Batoga. It was the deadliest single terrorist attack in Colombia for decades. Escobar had planned the explosion in the hope that it would kill the presidential candidate, Cesar Gaviria Trujillo. However, Trujillo was not on the flight and went on to become president of Colombia. The bombing also resulted in the deaths of 2 Americans, which led the Bush administration to begin their hunt for Escobar to bring him to justice. A witness who called Radio Caracol shortly after the crash detailed, "I heard explosions, and I thought there was some problem with transformers in the electrical station. but I looked up and saw a plane explode in the air, and bodies and pieces of luggage were falling. Number 6. His bombing trail also killed children. Another one of Pablo Escobar's bombs killed 20 shoppers, including 4 children, and injured around 70 other victims. During peak time at Northern Pagoda's Center 93 Mall, a remote-controlled bomb placed in a stolen van was detonated outside a bookstore where young children were shopping for school supplies. A presidential spokesperson said, "We have now had confirmation from military intelligence that Escobar planned and carried out the bombing." Number 7. Underage girls. In 1976, before his career in the cartel had really begun, Pablo Escobar married Maria Victoria Henao. He was 26 and she was 15. Escobar's connection with young girls continued long into his marriage. Underage girls from poor neighborhoods were gathered by a group of men called Los Señuelos, meaning bait, then brought to parties. According to Colombia's Semana magazine, after one of his depraved orgies, police discovered the bodies of 24 young girls who were all under the age of 19 years old. Number 8. His family went through hell. Even after his death, Escobar's wife and son had to move to Argentina, where they lived in exile. His wife, Maria Henao, changed her name to Maria Santos Caballero, and his son, Juan Pablo, became Juan Sebastian Marroquin Santos. In 2000, they were both arrested for money laundering and sentenced to 15 months in jail before being released due to insufficient evidence. Escobar's wife said, "I'm a prisoner in Argentina for being Colombian. They want to try the ghost of Pablo Escobar because they want to prove that Argentina is combating drug trafficking." Number 9. Bribing the Colombian government. Escobar was so feared that he was able to bribe even the highest-ranking politicians, officials, and judges. His motto was "Plata o plomo," meaning silver or lead. Those who could not be bribed with money would be shot and killed. Between 1976 and 1980, bank deposits in Colombia's 4 major cities more than doubled. So many illegal American dollars were flooding into the country that the country's elite began looking for ways to score its share without breaking the law. President Alfonso Lopez Miquelsen's administration permitted a practice that the central bank called opening a side window, which allowed unlimited quantities of dollars to be converted to Colombian pesos. The government played along by turning a blind eye. Number 10. His own brother turned against him. During the takedown of Escobar, he was turned on by his own brother, former accountant Roberto Escobar. The parliamentary group Los Pepes, which stands for People Persecuted by Pablo Escobar, the Cali Cartel, the U.S. and Colombian governments, and Roberto split the Medellin cartel and made those closest to Escobar into his enemies. On December 2, 1993, after 16 months of chasing Escobar, he was traced by a phone call made to his son and gunned down on a rooftop in Medellin. More than 25,000 locals held a funeral procession for the kingpin. After his death, the New York Daily News reported the locals wailed and moaned, hailing the dead drug lord as a savior of the poor. His grave is in Cementerio Jardins Montesecro, Itaqui. It is the second most visited tomb in South America. If you know any other weird facts about Escobar, share in the comments below. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.